Hi you guys, good day to you, welcome back. I see a Jeep Grand Cherokee, so let us see if you can see what I see. And what I see is no AC. Starting the engine. Let's see here, let's get our thermal probe in there. Customer states AC performance is lower than expected or underperforming or both. So we're gonna do a system evaluation on this bad boy, see what the deal is, see if the AC is gonna work. It appears to be making some cold. I can feed it. Let's let me nose this thing in a little bit and we'll throw the machine on there, take a look at the system, see if it's operating as designed, and then we're gonna go from there. So stay tuned because this is gonna be a very cold video. Opening the hood. Gravity. Alrighty, coming around to the business end of this unit here. We can see that the compressor is compressing. She's on, the clutch is engaged. Let's see. We're missing our caps for our service ports. High side there and low side there. This cap looks like it's been gone for a while. There's a bunch of corrosion and whatnot down inside of that hole right there. Let's see. Let's check for our fan. Looks like our fan is running. Is this a hydraulic fan? Nuh-uh. Yeah, looky like straight right down right there. That looks like a power steering line going to this giant fan motor assembly. Hang on, I think this is a hydraulic fan. Hadn't seen something like that in a while. Let's crawl down here and take a look. Hey, what do you know? Look at that. That's a hydraulic fan. Yeah, there's the solenoid that actuates it. We've got our lines, our return line, and a couple little fluid leaks here. Interesting. Looks like the steering gear has a leak, or a couple leaks. Maybe that oil filter. There's some fluid. Well, our issue is the AC, and I think this fan's turning a little bit too slowly. Let me go fetch the machine. We'll check the pressures and then we'll go from there, but I think we're running pressures to the moon. Before we do all that, let's go back into the cabin and recheck the thermometer in the dash. Okay, dash meter says we're making, what's that say, about 70 degrees, 68, 65, somewhere in that zone. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely underperforming. Let's go grab the AC machine and see what kind of pressures we have. Come on, Robin Air machine, you're coming with me. Park that right there. Okay, what I'm looking for is high side pressure going through the moon, so we'll get this connected to our high side service port. Now I understand this truck's had some AC work done to it before, maybe some recharges or something, so it should want to function. But it's not. I mean, it does work, but it underperforms. Oh, low side tangly cords. Here we go. Get this one plugged in. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, pressures look decent. A little low. Yeah, I'm gonna do what I normally need to do. Is I'm gonna go ahead and recover this. Make sure that the refrigerant charge is within specification. Powering on, and then well, we're gonna go from there. Maybe we do not have a fan issue. I hope we don't have a fan issue because that's a really expensive fan unit, guaranteed. Okay, machine is powered on. We're gonna go ahead and recover everything. Connecting. Yep. So it's gonna evacuate all the refrigerant. It's going to put it in the storage tank, and then we're going to be able to weigh out, powering down, we're going to weigh what we recovered and compare that with the specified amount, and that's going to let us know if we were undercharged, overcharged, or charged just right. I don't know, 0.3 pounds? Yeah, I think this might be a little undercharged. What is our spec? Where's our placard with our AC refrigerant spec on it? No, not that one. No, not on the firewall. Okay, I'll look it up in service data. Coming back in, look at that, 0.919 pounds. So it is a little undercharged. Okay, now, like I mentioned, this low side service port valve was a little crusty looking due to having been exposed to atmosphere with no cap for a while. So, as per my normal protocol, since I've got the system discharged, I am gonna go in there and replace these valves. Let's go ahead and pop this guy out of here. Come on, valve. They're a little tough to dig out. There's a vacuum in the line, so air pressure is kind of holding this thing in. Let's see what this guy looks like here. Yeah, it's a little worn at the seal. It's tough to see, but that seal is pretty depressed. Okie dokes, got a new unit here. Drop that guy down in the hole, and we're gonna tighten her down. Come on, Schrader valve, hurry up. Pick. And we can put our service hose back on. Or can I? Maybe I can't. Get on there. Thank you. And of course, I won't neglect the high side service valve. I will replace that one as well. That's a big one. Okay, so here's our new unit. That's our old unit. And we can see that the O-ring at the valve at the bottom of this one has been squished and is flattened. So we're definitely gonna drop in our new one right here. That's why I always like to replace these guys. You never know. I've had brand new ones fail. They just don't seal. 2023 quality control. What are you gonna do? Or 2022 quality control. Or it's 1984 quality control. Who knows? I don't know. Tighten that just a wee little bit with the pliers. That's how we found it. Good to go. And we'll put our hose back on. Okay. So now, we know we've got good valves in there. Let's go ahead and put this thing under a vacuum. Recover out all of the air that we introduced by opening up the system. I'll install a little bit of dye in this thing, and then we'll charge it and then see how it performs. 10-minute leak test. Go, go, go. Actually, I'm gonna cheat and skip ahead a half of a step. So right now we do have a vacuum going on, but it's only vacuuming the high side. I'm going to go ahead and install the dye into the low side of the system. If I can get this clipped on. Come on, you. Yeah, definitely not getting that one-handed. It's a finicky little valve. There. So what we do is we'll just turn this little cylinder. It's threaded on the inside, and we'll inject a slight amount of dye. There we go. Okay, now we can see that there's a bunch of green dye kind of hanging out. I'm gonna wash all this out of here so it doesn't deceive us in the future if this thing turns out to have a leak and we rely on the dye to find it. So we don't want any residual dye just kind of hanging out here. We want to get all of that washed away. Oh, I forgot. There we go. Shiny. Okay, this thing is nearly finished evacuating. Got about 30 seconds left on it. We'll let it finish up, and then we're going to go ahead and install the charge. All right, let's give this thing its charge. I did shoot some oil in it with some dye. We're under vacuum. This is good. It's been holding vacuum. This is also good. It also had pressure. That tells me that there's no huge leaks anywhere. There could be a leak. but not a huge one. We're looking for 1.687 pounds refrigerant, and we want to do that. I'm gonna shoot that in on the low side because I put some dye on the low side, and that initial blast of the refrigerant going into the system will help disperse that dye. Low side, charging. Yeah, let's get rid of these old valves. We don't need those around anymore. That's an old one. That's an old one. There we go. Begin charging now, please. Low side refrigerant. Go, go, go. Aha. All right, we're headed in. Let's let this charge, and then we'll restart the system and see if we have any pressure or temperature change, and pressure change actually. We were seeing like the 150, 160 pounds on the high side, but we were also at like 60, 70% charge, something like that. I didn't do the math. But it was low on a charge, but the pressure was still the same. So with the proper charge in the system, we may experience an event where pressures are a little bit higher than spec, you know, 250, 275, 300. That can be caused by low flow over the cooling package. Okay, we're at 1.6 pounds refrigerant in the system. I'm gonna go ahead and start this thing back up and kick the system back on, restarting the engine. Okay, we've got airflow. Our temperature is starting to come down. We're about 75 right now. Let's go out and check the pressures. We'll check the machine. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, look at that. Our high side's a little bit higher. Low side's a little bit higher. That's still within specs, so we're okay here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hose compensate. Press abort to hose compensate. This is abort. Hose compensation is what's going to happen is the machine is going to install into the car a predetermined amount of refrigerant based on weight, and that predetermined amount is calibrated to the volume of refrigerant that is contained within the hoses. So as it sits right now, it installed 1.687 pounds of refrigerant, but some of that is still inside of the hoses, so it's just going to add a little bit extra to displace what's in the hoses and make sure that the system is full to its maximum capacity. Clever, yeah? Okay, pressures are creeping up a little bit. That's a little high for what we're looking for. It's not a very hot day today. Let's go and check our thermometer in here. And yeah, we're about the same as where we started, even though we had a low charge. The system's underperforming. Let's, I'm gonna throw some fans in front of this thing, and we're gonna get some airflow artificially created over the cooling package, and we're gonna see if our temperatures inside drop down, and we're also going to see if our high side pressures drop down. Is what we'll do. We'll move this thing right here to create a nice little stand for us. Then I can get the fan on board here. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, so we're still sitting at the 225, 230, 250 zone. Power up our fan, full speed ahead. We have airflow. Can't see it, but you can feel it. Let's see what our high side gauge is going to start to do. Can you come down? We may need more fans here. There, let's get the big shop fan out. We'll squat it down so it is in line with our hood. Lock that in and tote this bad boy over to our truck. Right about here. There we go. Okay, fan powering on. Let's take a look at our pressures before they change. What do we have here? Wow, look at that. Pressure's going down. And it's not even very good airflow, it's just kind of here, it's not really directed. Let's turn it on high. Fan on high. We're still seeing that pressure drop. that's pretty good. Now, just for the sake of science, I'm going to shut down the fan again. We should see that pressure rise. Oh, look at that. Yep, pressure's going up. Fan back on again. Pressure is going down. Okay, let's let all this stuff run right here. We're gonna go inside and recheck the center vent dash temperature. All right, right now where are we at? 65? Yep. Okay, let's let this run for a little while and we'll come back and check it in a moment. Okay, jumping back in. We're down to 60. Still very much underperforming. So let's apply some process of elimination. We know our charge is good. We know that our compressor is good because it is making pressure. We know that our metering device is good because there's a pressure differential. We know we have a problem with airflow because we're attempting supplemental airflow, which is effective, but not as effective as the shrouded fan that's already contained in the car. So we need to actually go ahead and work on this airflow issue and make a move to get the proper flow over this cooling package. And that's going to be, well, that's going to require us to diagnose the issue with this hydraulically actuated power steering pump driven fan. So there's two parts to this system. There's the, well, two primary parts. There's the mechanical drive hydraulic section, and then there's the electronic actuator that tells that hydraulic motor down there to go ahead and kick on. So what we need to do is get to the connector, which I believe is this one right here, the red guy, and check and make sure that that's receiving its pulse width modulated signal. I think it's PWD signal. We have to make sure it's receiving its signal to turn on the solenoid to actuate the hydraulic pump. So let's go ahead and do that right now. What I need to do is remove that little thread safety tab locking mechanism there. Actually, I just need to pull this whole thing out so I can manipulate it. That's probably better. Unclip that. Unclip. There we go. And let's check this with a meter to make sure we're getting our signal down to the solenoid that's on the pump. All right, multimeter. Let's set this up for voltage real quick. We'll do a quick check on our meter to make sure it's going to function. Green to black. We're going to go ahead and just ground. Actually, we don't even need a jumper lead. Just stick that guy right in there. And we've got charging voltage. Okay, leads are good on the meter. I always test my test equipment. Oh, come here. Okay, here's our connector. Nothing, nothing, and we've got voltage here, okay? I'll show you. So we've got power being run down to that solenoid. We have voltage. Let's check our ground side. So I'm gonna assume that that black wire is ground. Go ahead and probe that one. I'll move my meter ground over to the hot side, and we've got voltage there, so we have a ground. But what we don't have is that fan coming into high speed. We've also got signal at that center wire. So that tells me that I have an issue down south with that solenoid, or the actual motor itself has failed, which I find that somewhat unlikely. So I'm gonna go down to that solenoid and we're gonna check everything at the solenoid, because there's still this lead wire right here that may have an open circuit in it. If we can disconnect that solenoid. Put that back in. Okay. All right, back down below. Looks like it's my lucky day. There is a connector down here at this solenoid. Let's see if I can't fish that guy out real quick. It's getting a little warm in here. Oh, come on. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, I can't get it. Too dangerous. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna shut this down. Yeah, it's too hot, too dangerous. Powering down. going back in. Okay, I've got it disconnected again. I'm down here with the meter. And what I'm gonna do is just recheck for all those voltages right down here, just to make sure that there's no break in the wire. Okay, I've got signal here, and let me switch the lead over and we'll check signal on that last circuit there. Stand by. And we've got power on. Oh, that pin right there, I just had a flashlight hit me in the face. That sucked. Okay, so now that leaves us to conclude that the issue is right around here somewhere, which is why we do not have high-speed fan action. Now we can see this fan is running even though it's disconnected because there is fluid flow running through this unit. What I'm gonna do is plug this in and I'm gonna feel it, and I'm gonna listen for the audible click, which is gonna tell me that that solenoid is closing. If we do not get the click, I can conclude that that solenoid has failed. So let me get in there. And, whoa, hang on. Is the fan coming alive? Let's disconnect again and see. I think the fan just kind of kicked on. Perhaps we have a faulty connection here. All right, fan's slowing down. I feel less airflow. Okay. Maybe we just had a corrosion in that connector, which I do see some up there in those pins. Let's plug her in again. Oh yeah, fan's on now. It's alive. All right, let's get out of here and recheck our system performance one more time. Woo, it's getting warm down there. Here we go, yep. Look at that, we're down to 175 with a full charge, and we heard that fan coming on. This is good. Now we're getting some flow. Let's go into the cabin and check our temperatures at the vent. Still at about 60. Okay, let's give it some throttle. And I'm watching the gauge up front. Don't know if you guys can see, but we're at about 200 pounds at 2,000 RPM. Temperature's slightly falling. We're about 60, still a little 60, still right at 60. Let's hold it for a minute. All right, this is interesting. So I'm noticing that my flow here is not very strong, okay? And I'm selecting through some of these modes, and I just heard one of the doors go. Hear that? There's a broken door inside of the dash. See, now our temp is climbing again. Let's select it to floor. The noise back there stopped. I still have flow here, so our mode door is not operating. Let's kick up the temperature and see if our temperature blend doors are working. Yeah, still cool air. Yeah, we're not getting hot air yet. Okay. So we're set to high and high. We're still at 60 degrees on the center vent. It still has air at the center vent, but I've got it selected to floor. Let's select it back over to center or in your face vents. We're still not getting hot. So we have uncovered yet another problem. So let's recap real quick before we keep going. We had a low refrigerant charge. That was corrected. We had a fan that wasn't fanning. That was corrected. And now we're on to the climate control section inside of the cabin, where the blend doors are not working. So the temperature door is not working and the mode control door is not working because it doesn't select between modes and it doesn't go between hot and cold. So I think it's probably stuck somewhere in the middle. What if recirculate works? I didn't hear that one either. Okay, well, let's stick our heads under the dash and see what I can come up with down there. Okay, so I think we're done up here with the mechanical side of this system. It's all working, the fan's still going. I am gonna go down there and disconnect that connector one more time and clean the corrosion off of those pins. I'm pretty sure that had something to do with it. Powering down. Let's get this guy out of the way and see if, I wonder if I have some caps. They're gonna fit on this. That's a negative on that one. Let's try this one here. Yeah, that one fits. And that one doesn't fit. But this one does. Okay. That's an improvement also. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. This right here, this is our mode selection knob. That's the one that goes from, you know, off, auto, and then can change which vents you have activated. We're gonna go down there and we're gonna find that mode control door, and I'm gonna reach up and actuate this simultaneously. And we're gonna watch to see if that mode actuator is running or not. So bear with me, we're going back into a dash. Okay, so that right there is our mode actuator. That device there, and then it's got its cams and all of its linkages. So I'm gonna reach up and around to that knob and we're gonna run this unit and see if it's gonna work. Okay, I don't know what position I'm selecting. I'm just going through all the positions one at a time. Okay, it's working. I did feel an airflow change down here at the bottom vents. All right, so the mode actuator is working. Now that doesn't mean that it's changing the airflow because there could be like damage to the seal inside of the evaporator case, which makes this horse a different color. Let's go to the other side and try temperature control and see if that actuator works. Because although we're getting, I mean, we still should be getting cold, and we're really not getting that much cold. I mean, 60, 70 degrees, it's underperforming. Which leads me to wonder if temperature control is not working. Where will I find that unit? Let's see here. I don't see it down there. Let's take a look behind our glove box here. Maybe it's hiding. Avalanche. Yeah, there we go. What's that about? Okay. Does that one work? I'm turning the knobs and it's not doing anything. I wonder if that's the recirculation actuator. That's a big negative. And something is broken in the dash. Okay, see that? Someone has disconnected this and now it's sitting there hanging out. But we can see when we try to actuate this manually, nothing happens. So the door inside of the HVAC unit is broken. Whoa. All right, so I've gone ahead and turned off the fan. It's on low, so the system's still running, but I've turned it off just to illustrate what else I found here. Whoop, gravity, found some flashlight gravity. All right, so if we look up here inside of that little grill, you can see one of the doors inside of the HVAC box. Now that is the recirculation door. So that's the one that'll, if you open it, it'll bring in air from the outside, and if you close it, it'll recirculate air, which is already in the cabin. I'm gonna select that actuator, and we're gonna see if the recirc system operates, which I don't hear it, and I didn't hear it earlier. It's selected off, no activity. Selected on, no activity, flashlight. And again, I don't hear that actuator functioning either. Now we know that the door inside of here is broken, because that should not be freely spinning, and it should have a lot of resistance on it. And taking a closer look, we can see that somebody at some point has had this HVAC box out and has disassembled this unit. Because if we look right here, you see that? See that fatigue in the plastic? And the bend in that little tab, plus all that space right here? Somebody's had this box out and apart before. There's some damage going on in there. So, yeah, this is gonna require quite a bit of work to actually make this right. We need to pull the dash back out of this thing. So this is a little bit more than what I thought it was. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let my guy know what I found, and I guess we're gonna go from there. I may suggest that he allows the last person that works on this the opportunity to correct their error. Otherwise he has to pay a second time, and that would be unfortunate, because this is gonna be an expensive repair. Oh, looky here. More of that binding and fatigue. See that, how that one's bent down? There's a wire sticking out of this one. I don't know if that goes there or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That's not correct. Yeah, somebody broke something in here. This is not good. Okay. Yep, so dash has to come out, and the HVAC box has to be broken into again. It probably needs new doors. It probably needs new actuators. Not really certain, but I know I stop here. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. Our diag is complete. There's nothing more I can do. So that being said, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this extensive diagnostic cooling system video. If you did enjoy this video, please let me know about that by tapping that like button down below. If you did not enjoy this video, then, well, let me know about that in the comment section down below, and maybe I can use your feedback to do a better job. So again, and as always, thank you for watching, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of Jeep for now.